today and this week with the unanimous passage of a bill that will allow our office to release the grand jury testimony of Jeffrey Epstein, unanimously in the House and unanimously in the Senate, speaks volumes. It speaks volumes to the victims that transparency will be shed on why Jeffrey Epstein was allowed to continue heinous crimes even while he was under legal scrutiny, and even while he was under or serving time in prison. The Senate today unanimously passed the House bill, and it's on its way to the governor. What occurred would not have been even possible if it wasn't for Senator Tina Polsky and Representative Peggy Gossett-Seidman. The work that they have put in for the past 3 years led to today and the release of these records. Well, let me be clear on one point. The bill that was passed by these incredible public servants will only release the Jeffrey Epstein records. All the other grand jury, confidential and secret grand jury records will be protected under state law. And without further ado, I would like to introduce the senator who just passed the bill off the floor unanimously today, Senator Tina Polsky.
Former Senator, former State Rep, Clerk Abruzzo, it's been a pleasure working with you on this really important bill. So 3 years ago, we floated it as an amendment to try to get the idea out there and get people used to this idea, because it is a little controversial to release grand jury records. But there's something so heinous and unique about the Jeffrey Epstein case. And it has been a stain on Palm Beach County, to be perfectly honest about it. And I know, in working with Clerk Abruzzo, how much he wanted to be able to release the records, but was unable to. And so it would take an act of the legislature to make it happen. So in the normal course of events and the way the legislature works, we, together with Representative Gossett-Seidman, posed the bill last year. I believe I got a few hearings, but we didn't make it all the way. And then this year, we're so proud that we made it all the way. It's obviously a difficult process, and we're thrilled to be able to allow the county to release these records so we can see what happened and why Jeffrey Epstein did not serve the kind of sentence that he should have served. I would like to introduce Representative Peggy Gossett-Seidman, who has worked with me on this, and I'm so proud of what we've accomplished.
Thank you, Senator. I've lived in Palm Beach County over 30 years, and I can tell you that people watched this case as it unfolded 18 years ago, and I think a lot of people never forgot in Palm Beach County that we could have stopped this vile predator and not have released him to the world to continue his despicable behavior. And so it's been an honor to work with the senator and our clerk to get this done, and I thank my legislators and on both sides for supporting us and working hard to hear this case. Honestly, a lot of people are surprised they didn't even know this occurred in Palm Beach County. And why would they if they didn't live there? It was just this vile, secretive little case with people sneaking around at night, and Epstein picking up girls from middle school and high school with his butler. I mean, it's shocking. And it took one mom called the chief of police of Palm Beach, town of Palm Beach, Michael Reiner, and she said, my daughter was picked up and abused by this rich guy in Palm Beach. And from there, he built a case, he took it, and kaput. One morning, it was all gone. So we are very happy to bring this back and have the public know what really happened in this last chapter of this sad sort of story. Thank you.
I do have to recognize some people in our office, specifically the General Counsel of the Palm Beach County Clerk's Office, Amy Borman, who worked tirelessly finding the correct legal language to ensure that our courts will only allow the Jeffrey Epstein case to be released. And I wanted to thank Matt Forrest, Baylor Partners, great government advocacy firm. You hear a lot about Baylor Partners for their corporate clients, but we cannot nearly afford the type of equality representation as Baylor, and they took this and helped usher through the legislative process. Brian Baylor, Matt Forrest, thank you so much. for taking on this noble and what I would consider an incredible cause. Are there any questions for any of us?
Curious what you think about the governor's indication, if he's given any indication in signing such a policy, and whether or not you've been in contact with the governor's office.
Shockingly, I have not been in contact with the governor's office, but I did read an article that he said that something happened. Do you hear that vibration? Okay. No, it was just. I did read an article that said he would like to release the records, and so I remember I saw that, sent it to them, said I think we're going to be good to go, that he seemed to be supportive, but I have had no conversations, but I'm confident that it will get his signature.
To add to that point, during the governor's run for the presidency, he did indicate full transparency in the Epstein case, so this follows right what he advocated for, right in his state.
Question about 18 years. Maybe this case happened because you are told the lawyers are doing proceedings, but why do you think it took as long as it did to, publicize and have people know about what he actually did and kind of find at least a little bit more?
I know from a public standpoint that I believe the Palm Beach Post first received information, but the Miami Herald was the ones that had the guts, if you will, to dive into these allegations, which eventually led to the demise and the punishment of Jeffrey Epstein. So it was really the Miami Herald that broke the story and gets a lot of the credit for what we see today. That said, there's been a lot of press on it. If you meant the question in regards to the legislative process, or just... Well, I'll let the, as the senator said and representative, you have to educate the members, because cracking open grand jury records, I don't know if that's ever happened before, and it's extremely rare, but I'll let you.
Yeah, I think, as I kind of explained, we had the idea when the idea first came up, or I guess it was really from the request for records, and then Clerk Abruzzo was unable to provide the records even if he wanted to, and the judge said, you have to change the law in order for him to release the records. So, as he said, he put together the language, and what we did 3 years ago was floated as an amendment to something, just so I could lay it out there for the Senate body. And then I believe I withdrew the amendment before voting, but again, as the first education piece. And then last year, we kind of started the process. You do have to, if you ever heard our introductions to the bills, we were so specific in what this bill applied to, and there is only one case on earth that this bill would apply to. So it was really just a matter of easing everyone into the idea, and honestly, 2 years isn't too bad to get something new passed.
I could just add to that, my colleagues as well in the House were wondering, gee, this crack open set a precedent for other cases. Those, particularly the attorneys in the House were concerned about that, but we made sure that the language as was crafted is very specific, unless there were a clone of this guy. And they grew to understand that as we presented through each committee, 3 committees in the House in my case. And they said, yes, let's go for it.
So that is the question. We know that, as you heard specifically, and the representative laid it out in her closing on the floor, to a detailed degree. We do not know what is in those grand jury records. Although I have been housing the records since I took office, actually they're sitting with a judge in the court right now. I'm not allowed to listen, or staff, they are sealed and secret records. But what should we anticipate and what we hope is some information on how he got this sweetheart deal that allowed him to actually be out and continue to commit heinous acts and crimes against underage girls and women. It's pretty remarkable, negatively, what transpired. And these records hopefully will shed some light, which is a great question because we do not know. Only the people in the grand jury know, and judges that have listened to these their tapes.
What do you feel that in itself is going to be
I don't believe so, because what would have to happen is when somebody petitions the court for the release of these records, a judge still has to sign off. They would have to make the argument that somehow the legislation was wrong, and as you know, challenge it up to likely the state Supreme Court. So I would submit that these records will be hopefully released far before any type of challenge, but I don't know who would challenge these records. I think it would look pretty awful. Nor do I think they would prevail, in my opinion.